Hi, Statesmen Nation. Welcome to another week of the Coaches Show out here at the Trio. Thanks for the Trio to once again be hosting us here. We're really excited to be here and excited to have in front of all of this live audience as well. We have a trio of three coaches here at the Trio here for this Thursday night, beginning with women's bowling coach Kirsten Foster. So, Coach, appreciate you coming out.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, well, we're going to get right into it. You've got a kid that you need to get home, so we're going to make sure that this is short and sweet. All right, halfway point, or probably a little bit farther along than in season than that, but let's recap the first half of the season where you feel like the team's at.
Yeah, so the first half, the first tournament was a very slow start. And then it's just been smooth sailing ever since. So I think we had like 4 tournaments where we placed third, all back to back to back to back. And then we go to Vegas and made match play there against some of the stronger teams in the country. So we're consistently making match play, which is good. It gets us prepared for postseason and gets us really working with how to cope with the pressure and how to post the shots when we really need them to. So they've been doing really great ever since that first tournament. So if we could just forget about that one, it'd be great. But
well, that one's well into the past. So let's talk about, you guys have been off for a month now. Obviously, I think this is by design. You guys did it last year this way too.
Yep.
Let's talk about how beneficial that's been for you guys to take this long break as you go into the final few tournaments of the year.
yeah, so it allows us to, one, have everyone take a break. We'd go like every other weekend of tournaments, and so let them kind of take a break, decompress, and kind of find themselves again before we head into this longer stretch. And so we used to compete in January, but we always felt like we were coming back from break so fast that we were taking away from Christmas break for everybody, which we already do at the beginning of it, so we didn't want to do it at the end. And then we just never felt like we were ready to go into those tournaments. So we felt it was better that we took the month off, let everyone take that break, but also give us more time to prepare more efficiently for the second half of the season and postseason.
All right, let's talk about this weekend. It's kind of a different format here. You guys play in 2 separate tournaments, the NAIA weekend number 1 on Saturday, then the NAIA weekend number 2 on Sunday. Just explain the format and kind of how beneficial that is, and does that really prepare you for postseason kind of competition?
Yeah, so it's a whole new format. This is a format we've never competed in before. And so they explained it to us in email. The first day we bowl 5 individual games. Each game is a match against another team at random draw. So we get that, no matter what, we're getting that match play feel. And then we come back Sunday and we bowl 25 Baker games, 5 sets of 5. And each one of those sets is a match against a random draw team, with the last match being position round. And then at the end of the weekend, it's whoever wins the most matches is the winner of the tournament. But how they are doing it for the USBC and NAIA rankings, whichever team has the highest total pinfall gets those points. So you can win it 2 different ways. So what I told the girls is I want highest total pinfall. Like, don't get me wrong, would I love to come away with that hardware? Sure, 100%. But I want the rankings. So I told them total pinfall, and then if we come away with hardware, great. If not, that's the goal for me. So, and they were all very understanding of that, and they all agreed too. They want the rankings.
Yeah, it sounds like somebody had fun coming up with that whole idea. Like, let's see how convoluted we can make this and really confuse the coaches. But I understood it. It was clear as mud, but I got it. Okay. And also, like we talked about, you're halfway in the year, but you're way more than halfway. I mean, you have this weekend, you have the Hoosier, and then you have conference.
Yes.
So less than a month away from conference. You've obviously had a chance to face off against most of the hard teams, if not all of them, probably at this point, in some tournaments. So talk about where you feel like the team kind of matches up with everybody in the conference.
I like where we match up currently. Right now, we do have 2 teams in the heart that are in the top 10 for NAIA, so us and Mount Mercy. And so the nice part with conference is it's match play. Every single step of the way it's match play because we are not doing any sort of qualifying seeding round. We are going in with our rankings from RPI. So we go straight into match play, and I like our chances because my team likes match play. We have worked really hard to learn to perform under that pressure, post the shots when we need to, and really when it comes to the match play like that, it's anybody's game. This year for conference, we are testing a new format for that. It is similar to the NCAA style, which is something that they have talked about doing on the national level, but it's a very long format, and so we are testing out a condensed version of it, and we are actually acting as the guinea pigs for all of NAIA, and that if we can figure out how to make this work, this could be a format that gets selected to be used at the national level. And so you bowl a combination of team games and Bakers, and it's total pinfall. So I like our odds. Now, that's not to disregard Mount Mercy. They are a very, very strong team, but my girls like to fight. So I'm really excited to see that come out at conference. We are used to coming against strong teams. Baker's been a strong team in the past. Other teams in the conference, such as like Grandview, even Culver, Stockton, Missouri Baptist just got added into the mix. They can always propose a hard fight too. So I like that my team, they've got grit, and that's not something you can teach everybody. So they like to fight. So I'm excited to see them fight for it.
Okay, the team will be fighting this weekend in Lawrence, Kansas at the, again, very interesting format of the NAIA weekend number 1 and number 2. So best of luck this weekend, Coach. Like I said, right here coming in at the end of the season, so best of luck the rest of the way. Once
Perfect.
again, Kirsten Foster of the women's bowling team. When we come back, we'll have another coach here on the Coaches Show at the Trio. Welcome back to the Coaches Show here at the Trio. We are now joined by Victoria Vineker of the men's and women's track and field team. Coach, appreciate you coming out for a little bit. I know it's a busy time of the season for you. You guys are kind of about smack dab in the middle of the indoor season. So let's just get right into it in regards to talking about your top individuals. You got 4 qualifiers, correct? I'm not missing anybody?
Not yet, but yeah, we have 4 so far. Probably get a few more coming up in the next few meets. But yeah, no, we have a few qualified so far. They've had some very impressive feats so far, but we're just focusing on the small mechanics with them. So we're going to turn them over and turn them out whenever it comes to coming into those bigger meets like conference and national. So they're just gearing up for those. And you'll see some very, very big performances coming soon for sure.
All right, let's talk about the entire squad. Talked about those, top individuals, but the entire squad, they're coming along week after week. Every time that you're, giving me a quote and I'm seeing those results, you can tell that they're close and they're about ready to really pop off some numbers. So let's talk about the team as a whole as we are, like I said, about halfway through the indoor season.
Yeah, we started off really strong. Unfortunately, we couldn't get to our first meet in December for everybody, so we didn't get to see them then, but coming out of it, that first meet at St. Ambrose, we had a lot of surprises, right out of the gate. They had some really good performances all over, and then we took them to the University of Nebraska where they competed against some really big dogs, and they boated very well. And they had a lot of fun going up against former Olympians and ones that are going for the Olympics and stuff like that. So our whole team is coming together the way it needs to. Our men's side specifically is boating very well in our conference, and they're all we hear them talk about is just doing it together and making sure everyone's holding everybody else accountable. And our team does a really good job about that in very funny ways, but they definitely are ones that they want to go do this together and get the best out of each other. And anyone that's close for qualifying, you have everybody that might not be there just yet in that type of field, but they're the ones pushing them to go because they just want their teammates to succeed. And that's the best part of our program because everyone does everything together and for each other. And when you have a program like that, it's fun to watch everything develop. We've had some rougher meets, but that's on purpose because we were building and learning some stuff at our practices, so they were trying to put it in play coming through, and then they're starting to really understand it competition practice-wise. So we're just getting really excited on these next couple weeks, and then heading into outdoor as well. I know people are itching to be outside. It's very warm outside now comparative to what we've been in. So, yeah, we're really excited, and the whole team is doing very well together.
Wasn't planning on asking this, but you kind of segued into it. So let's talk about that weather a little bit. I mean, obviously indoor is indoor, and you expect that all of your practices are going to be, in the pack. But you did have some opportunities to go outside this week. How beneficial was that for some of the team?
We didn't go outside as much as you might have thought. Our distance squad did. They're a different breed. So for them, like when they have their longer runs, it's just nice to have that fresh air. Field events and our sprints have been a little bit more exciting because they have a different type of elasticity in their muscles. So we want to make sure we keep them healthy and that they're not potentially tweaking something because it's cold. Even though I'm not going to lie, for me, I'm Russian, Minnesota, and the 45 degrees is very nice. But I do get cold really quickly too, so I don't want to stand out there myself. But being able to just figure out ways to work in the pack and work outside, work in the weight rooms and stuff. Our kids are really good at adapting and really understanding because we're very vocal and explain because it might feel a certain way sometimes, but in all reality, like if we explain it in a specific way, they're like, oh, we trust you, we're good to go. So we're very fortunate with our athletes and our coaching staff for sure.
All right, let's preview this weekend. Most of the team is going to Grinnell, I think, unless something has changed.
All the team, yeah, the whole team, yeah.
Okay. At one point, you were saying maybe you're going to have some distance runners go somewhere else to possibly qualify. I don't know if that's changed.
It changed to an extent. So we're doing it. We're all just going to the same meet. They're just going to try to do it solo. So it just sometimes with these meets, they'll have certain events on certain days. They'll have certain competition on certain days, especially with running events and. Feels kind of the same, but mainly running. You want that competition because it's just going to push you to be better. And so sometimes doing it alone, kind of like we did, like last year they qualified the DMR at Grinnell by themselves, and they were walking funny for the next couple hours because it's hard to push on your own. But we have a very talented crew, so they're still going for those big guns on their own or with some minor different type of competition. So it's still going to be a fun weekend for us. Small weekend, but fun.
So outside of that DMR group, what other team or individuals are you hoping to get qualified this weekend, possibly?
Honestly, we don't look at trying to qualify people for specific weekends. Don't get me wrong. The earlier we qualify people, the easier it is to have them sit back, relax. We can really focus on the small stuff. But we have a few individuals that are sitting there flirting with standards. Wes flirting with the A. In weight throw, flirting a little bit with the B. In shot, Nick is flirting a little bit with the B in weight. You got Showalter potentially in the 2. You got, because he was really close right out of the gate. You got Tony in the hurdles as well. You got some of our distance crew as well that is looking. We'll see what they do because, like I said, it just has to do with training cycles as well. So sometimes it's not just peaking. Sometimes they just go out and show out, and it works for us. But it's nice to just that they're going in and really doing it step by step, brick by brick, and that's all we could ask for, honestly.
Okay, you guys are less than a month away from conference. You obviously have an opportunity to either see these other teams in competition or you just see what their marks are in other meets. But where do you feel like the team is going into this final few weeks before conference, and how do we match up against everybody else?
Yeah, our women's side is going to be a thorn in a lot of people's side. We got a very strong women's conference. We just don't have the numbers to do it, but at the same time, they're gonna make some people mad and take points that they're not supposed to be taking, and that's, I'm not gonna lie, that's a little fun. I like to play a little bit of that villain in that aspect, and so do my kids, and so do my staff. On our men's side, we're stacking pretty well. Rankings came out, just USTFCCA rankings came out, just as a total of what it all looks like. Our men are making a run for that top 3. They're sitting in that top 3 range right now, and they're just hungry and they want it. We're stacking up very well. Conference always comes down to who strategizes the best and whose kids show up and show out. And we are very confident in our kids and just the abilities that they have to just come in, give everything that they have, no matter what, and really go out there and compete against anybody we put in front of them.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Coach. I appreciate your time. Once again, Victoria Vineker of the men's and women's track and field teams. They'll be at the Grinnell Invitational this weekend. There's a couple other meets, and then you have conference, I think on the 21st, 22nd, maybe it's a week after that.
No.
It's sometime in February.
We got Northwest, and then it's Valentine's Day weekend.
Yes. So, best of luck, Coach, and everything, and we will keep tabs on you. we'll have one more coach here on the Coaches Show, and we'll be back in a minute. Welcome back to the Coaches Show here at the Trio. We have our final coach of the night, head coach for men's basketball, John Henry.
Thanks for having me.
There's a couple claps there. Look at that.
Hey. Couple of claps.
All right, Coach. We could recap the last game. We could recap the last few, but let's just talk in general here. A little bit of a rough patch we're going through right now.
Just a little bit.
Let's just call it what it is.
Yep.
But when that happens, how's the team dealing with that rough patch, with the difficult couple weeks? Is it a frustration? Are they determined to get better? I mean, what's kind of the psyche of the team right now in a rough patch?
That's a great question, and that's why you win all those awards, journalist awards. But I would say all of that, frustration, anger, desire, embarrassment. I'd be lying if I didn't say we were embarrassed. Trying to find the answers, trying to figure out why, not only as a team, a staff, players individually, coaches individually. It's tough. For me, I've been a part of some teams that have won 22 in a row, 24 in a row, cut nets, did all those things. This is new ground for me. We just lost 9 out of 10 last night, and you got to do a lot of soul searching, and a lot of looking in the mirror, and then you got to get yourself up. And what else are you going to do? I'm not going to quit, and I'm not going to allow the players to quit. And whoever's in, I want to say this. I want to be careful with the way I word this. Whoever's in uniform is going to play. Whoever's not in uniform is not going to play. And that sounds really cliche or whatever, but we've had a tough stretch where our roster isn't full on a regular basis for whatever reason, good or bad. And I saw some of the players today. We had an off day today, a non-mandatory 3:30 to 5 where coaches weren't there and they were kind of shooting. I walked through, and Ja'Cour Williams, number 3 in your manual, Ja'Cour Williams, I asked him, hey, I'm going to get asked some tough questions tonight by the great Wade Steinlage. What am I supposed to say? And he said, we're going to keep grinding and we're going to figure it out. So I hope he's right. And, win or lose, I hope he's right. I hope we keep grinding. And I think I said this last time, one win could really do wonders for us. And it hasn't worked out the way we planned. We were 6-1 at one point, 3-0 in the league. We were 6-1 at Thanksgiving and 8-3 at Christmas, and then you go 1-9 since the break. And I've had some people ask me, specifically a pretty lady that lives in my house, what the heck happened? I wish I knew because I would have prevented it. But this is what you're supposed to do. When times get down, can you rise up? It's real easy to be ranked number 1 in the nation and be 30-1. But when you're 9-12 and searching for answers, who are you? And that's what we're going to find out.
All right. So along with that, what are the locker room speeches like, halftime and after the game, when nobody wants to talk to each other, nobody wants to look each other in the eye, and you got to obviously keep this G. Maybe I'll give you a PG rating on this, but what are those speeches like? What are the talks like?
Well, you asked me last time what my New Year's resolution was, and it was to cuss less. So it is PG, not necessarily G, but I try. But anyway, that was a joke. But it's tough. I mean, it's tough when, especially the last 3 home games have been pretty much the same way. It's a close game till about the 8-minute mark. Maybe even be ahead double digits in the first half, ahead at halftime, and then we get to about the 8-minute mark, 6-minute mark, and teams put their will on us, and we just don't have anything. And it's frustrating because, you're asking and looking for just a little bit more grit, a little bit more grind, a little bit more effort, and we just don't get it. And for whatever reason, I take full responsibility as the head coach that for some reason it hits that 32-minute mark, played mark, or 34-minute mark played, and we just don't have anything either left in the tank or it's just not there, and the other team has it and just decides we're going to win tonight. You're not, and it's happened to us a lot this season. And we talk about it. We do all the things that I believe we should be doing, but maybe I need to reevaluate what we're doing.
Can
I just say this too?
Ahead.
I completely believe that we have good players. So I don't want the players to get it twisted if they were to see this. I don't know that I in any way think that we're a bad team. I think we have good players, and I just, for whatever reason, we have not played well. And again, I take responsibility for my part of that. But we have good players. We just have to get it together and figure out how to score one more point than the other team.
Not something I was going to ask, but just popped in my head. This is the second year of just, again, what it is, maybe not reaching the expectations you want. Is it coming back to all of those really successful years? Is it a little bit still of some of these teams saying, you know what, William Penn took us behind the woodshed year after year after year, and they're still playing with an edge, thinking, all right, this is our time to pounce, and you're trying to now think of, what are other teams thinking, but is that part of it too, that they've got a little edge because of what you guys have done to them in the past?
Well, I can't speak for them. I can only speak for what I feel, and that's, that's a given. It was really apparent last year. And what makes me, I'm going to spin this in a way you didn't anticipate, okay? I feel like last year teams took advantage of that aura and stepped on us. This year they're laughing at us. It's no longer, we beat Penn. It's, we're going to crush Penn, and that's embarrassing. And I take that very seriously, not only for the institution for which I work, but for the players of the past that built us into that that strong William Penn men's basketball, fear William Penn, ranked number one, all those wins, championships, all the stuff we did. I take that very serious, and I'm not sure that our current players do. And that's the other team's coaches surely do. I don't know if the players, because players are coming in 1-2 years, they don't see us as that threat anymore past last year. But I'm sure their staffs do and their fans do. So to answer your question, I guess yes, in detail.
All right, we'll go back to just the simple questions. We got Peru State this weekend. Last time we played them at home. Barn burner, had the lead. Again, one of those situations, couldn't finish it out. Just ended up losing by 2. But let's kind of preview the Bobcats a little bit, going to their place. What are you expecting on Saturday?
Crazy athletic, very deep. I'm not going to get into individuals. Just a program that honestly has been through 3 head coaches since we started playing them in 2016 regularly in the Heart, and it doesn't seem to matter. The head coach, the style and the type of players that they have and the grind that they have has not changed with all 3 different head coaches. I don't know what it is there. I mean, it's like they turned the blueprint over to a new coach and it's the same thing. But, it's not as far away as some of the other trips, but it just seems farther. I mean, for whatever reason, you think about traveling to Peru, Nebraska, and you think it's a long ways away. I mean, it is a good distance, but it's not that bad. People don't know this. I don't know if any other coaches in the department have mentioned this, but it's really a challenge as a head coach to figure out the itinerary for the trip. Coach Bedford put together the itinerary. I haven't looked it over. I know we're leaving at 8:30 a.m. All women's coaches want to be at the game like 6 hours ahead of time. They all forget that they were once men's basketball players, the ones that are men head coaches, I might add. But then you got to figure out where you're going to eat, because there is nowhere. There's a Casey's in that town, and then you got to go down to, I think, Auburn to find Subway. So that's a challenge in itself. And, the environment can be electric. It could be packed. It could be nobody. So the atmosphere, you got to check that out right away, and then worry about your opponent and the scout team and scout plan and all that sort of thing. So then we turn around. Probably your next question, right? We turn around. We practice Sunday because there's really no days off unless a boo makes us. And then we practice Sunday, play Monday at Clark, and then Saturday at Mid-Am. We just came off of a 6-game in 13 days stretch, and now we got 3 straight road games, followed by 3 straight home games, and then at Baker. So this schedule with the weather and the way the schedule was set up ahead of time, with the weather and then add on that sort of stuff has been very, very challenging, especially for a team that, it sometimes has been challenged by itself.
All right. Actually, I didn't have any other questions, so you added to it, but hey, I appreciate that for sure, because we won't talk to you again for a couple weeks. But no, thanks, Coach. Once again, Coach John Henry of the men's basketball team, they will be at Peru State on Saturday and then at Clark next Monday. So opportunities to win, right? That's how we got to look at it.
We just need one.
Yeah,
we just need one. We're concentrating on getting one, and then a second one would be a streak.
Yeah, that's right.
There you go.
It was a streak, for sure. Once again, Coach John Henry, thanks, Coach. Appreciate it. That'll do it for us here at the Coaches Show here at the Trio. We do have a couple of home games this weekend. Men's volleyball will open up its home season, on Friday and Saturday. Arizona Christian coming to town for games on Friday at 7 p.m. and then 10 o'clock on Saturday morning as well. So kind of interesting little setup there, double header, so to speak, against Arizona Christian for men's volleyball. So definitely come out to the pack and check us out. But that'll do it for us here at the Trio, and we'll catch you in a couple weeks. Go Statesmen.